I should start this one as I have somewhat recent experience actually developing an application that uses AI, and just go over
That will take over the world.
Yes. It's called Skynet. It's the small startup building Terminators. Yeah, so I figured I should just share my experience and you guys can build upon that with your topics. So yeah, my topic really is what AI actually is at the moment and how developers and programmers actually use it and how it works, sort of, and what... shit.
Whoops.
That's a bad goal. Oh my god. 2-0 already.
And we'll be releasing our Udemy course on AI next week.
Yeah, so obviously take all of what we discussed today with a huge grain of salt because it's just three guys on a podcast, you guys. So
No, I think this should be life advice for everyone. Take this
Yeah.
extremely
Take
seriously.
this extremely seriously.
Yeah, apply this to your everyday lives.
Even outside of AI, man.
Just live in pure fear every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, so how does AI work? Last episode I said something dumb, which was like AI is nothing special, it's just maths. Yeah, I should really, like, I think I already backtracked on it in the previous episode, but I should specify that it's extremely cool maths, and it's actually maths that we don't fully understand. So here's what actually happens when you're making an AI application. You're using some form of AI, let's say neural networks or machine learning, which is what pretty much all of AI is currently based upon, I believe. So what machine learning actually is you take some input, you take some output, and you tell the AI do a bunch of calculations in the middle and make sure that the input I'm giving you matches the output I'm giving you. So here's how, in more detail, how that works. Let's say we have a simple app. What did they do in Silicon Valley? Is it a hot dog or isn't it a hot dog? Was that it?
Yeah.
So let's say we're actually making that app. So first of all, we would need thousands, if not millions, of hot dog pictures in different angles, different shapes and sizes.
I know a guy.
Cooked in different ways, so huge data sets. And we need to label all of these data sets as like this is a hot dog or this isn't a hot dog. Then we feed all of that data to a machine learning algorithm and we let it do its thing. And what that entails is it takes each image, it reduces it down to numbers, because like files are essentially just numbers underneath. So it reduces it into this like number string that represents each image, and it tries to figure out an algorithm which is like plussing, multiplying, dividing, like all of the mathematical shit you can think of. It's trying to do that and make sure that the result, if we have like a hot dog on one end, on the other end is 1, and if it's not a hot dog, it's 0. And the way it's testing this is obviously because we give it the data set and we tell it this is a hot dog and this isn't. It can like train itself to recognize purely the data of the image, meaning like the actual ones and zeros, right? So it's not actually looking at anything, it's just ones and zeros to the computer, to the algorithm. So
like the Matrix, for anyone who doesn't get that.
Sorry? Yeah, like the Matrix.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. But instead of like Japanese sushi recipes, it's ones and zeros. If you didn't know, that's what they're listing, those green letters, Matrix, just sushi recipes. So yeah, essentially that's what it does. Like you let it decide on its own which arbitrary algorithm is best to use to decide if a picture is a hot dog or isn't. And you don't actually, like, you as a developer, you don't have to know what it uses. It just trains on its own. That's the magic of it. You just let it do its thing, and eventually you have like a 90+% accuracy rate if you let it train for a long time, right? So that's what you want in a modern application. You want to be able to use AI to predict outputs based on inputs, right? So that's one method of doing it, and the other one is with neural networks, which is very, very similar, but there you have multiple nodes, like programmatic nodes that do their own thing, and again process inputs into outputs, and the actual developers don't know, they can't actually see what the mathematics inside is, because the computer makes it up for itself. So it's kind of like it makes brain connections, but instead of the brain, it's just a bunch of programmatical nodes, right? So it's pretty cool. It's very, very, very cool. But at the end of the day, it's just a way to determine if something is a hot dog or not. You know what I mean? Like it's not actual thought. It's not actual intelligence. That's why that's why we have the
not yet.
Still, just like a logical algorithm, I guess.
Yep,
it doesn't
exactly.
like make its own decisions. Yeah,
exactly. So I just wanted to like get this out of the way, because a lot of people sort of don't. First of all, not many people have to use it in their work still. Like it's probably just like high-end tech companies that use applications like that, develop applications like that. But yeah, there's this sort of misunderstanding in the public about what AI actually is, and we based a lot of our understanding and fears on like sci-fi movies, which
but
yep.
This is the current application though, right? Like this isn't where AI will be. This is just how it's currently implemented.
So yes, the current state of AI, but it's like if we can like bring up crypto again, if we say that the backbone of crypto is the blockchain, right? The backbone of AI is these machine learning algorithms that govern how AI works. So if we want to have a Terminator style scenario where AI is like sentient, it will not look anything remotely close to this. It would be something completely different. So it's a bit tricky to say like, oh, just give it a few years and it's gonna develop into something sci-fi, because it won't. It's not actual intelligence. So I think it's kind of Hollywood's fault for like portraying artificial intelligence as sort of actual intelligence.
Yeah, but I guess that's the hope though, right? Like that one point, eventually that it will become artificially intelligent, as opposed to, maybe AI is the wrong word currently, or the wrong phrase currently. And I'm not qualified to make that statement, but
I think that yes, that's definitely the aspiration. That's why all this work is being poured into this, and obviously the utility is huge. Like more than anything, I think we briefly touched upon this last time, but in terms of things that completely would change how we do things. For me, one is Neuralink, and the other one is AI. And AI has been a thing for like 20 years plus. Like it's not new. But the way that we're implementing it now is great. I think it's going to make a lot of things easier. Also, a lot of bad things easier. So when Elon Musk talk about like, the robots are coming for us, that's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is that it's going to become extremely easy to process, to develop algorithms that process huge data sets. And let's say you want to develop AI that hacks computers, right? It would be extremely easy to do that because of the nature of what AI can currently do. It's just pattern recognition, right? That's essentially what it is. So I think that's what's more dangerous versus actual Siri and Cortana and what was the name of the Amazon one?
God knows, it was
Alexa,
like rising up and forming a girl band and destroying all of us.
Yeah, we're not going to have any real life Cortanas for you Halo fans out there.